I just found the most important information we've been given to date as far as eras, Coliseum, and all the new update stuff. And I found in probably the most unsuspecting of all places. We'll get into that a little bit later. So, what I'm talking about is I've seen it in a lot of group chats and discords and, the all those places where people are wondering what is the end state? What is the end goal with eras? Now, maybe this stuff has already been out there, but I was totally oblivious to it. And if I was oblivious to it, I'm thinking that quite a few of you, are oblivious to it as well. So hopefully this video helps and clears things up. Again, let's try to get this as far out there as possible by sharing, liking the video, commenting for reach. So that way, yeah, again, people can understand what's going on here. Because this is a new system. We all know it's come with its, growing pains. So one of the big things that we have of concern is we have this era challenge that's starting basically tomorrow, and they say a recommended level is 20 plus. For most people that are free to play, they are like at level 6. They might even be a little bit more depending on if they maybe use some crystals or whatever the case is to level up. But for the most part, a lot of the free to play are sitting there at a lower level. So they think that they're not even going to be able to partake in the era challenge. The other thing too is that, like, as a free to play player, they're questioning, hey, why should I even engage with this game mode? I get a bad rank. I'm not getting good rewards. So this will hopefully answer some of that and kind of answer how specifically they said, they being CG said that, you're going to get a gear 12 character out of this. And it's hard to see, especially right now. Like, even when you were just going through these, these characters, it's like, I don't get how this happens. Like, and I was the same way. I don't know how to answer that question. Well, thanks to, like I said, the unsuspecting place of Reddit, we actually got a very good answer and a very good breakdown. I will post the link to this breakdown down below in the description, so that way you can reference it yourself. But this comes from SigSig. And if you guys know, anything about Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, is that we rely on SigSig. So we stand on the shoulders of Giants, and then Giants stands on the shoulders of SigSig to get this information, because data mining and all that good stuff happens. But this would have been something that I would have loved to see in CG's communication. But maybe it was there. I know they sent out really long posts and I couldn't read through every single detail, but this is a great breakdown and we're going to go through it right now too. So that way, hopefully we can clear up any confusion. So that way, yeah, you guys can see where this is going. So yes, free to play will get all marquees to level 65 by the end of the era. So yes, again, kind of what I was saying. People say that they can't get Luke past level 15 and can't do anything in Coliseum right now. From what SigSig can tell, it's completely intentional. Coliseum is built, so if you are free to play, you need to get the next marquee to continue progressing. So this is something that we probably did not know. And basically, he kind of breaks it down. So first you get Luke to level 15, and that's how you get it. You get that completely free to play. Then IG90 releases and you take them both to level 25, meaning that if you kind of read down below here, each marquee gives you the materials for free to take that marquee to the level to catch up to the previous marquee. So by the end of the era, free to play will have level 65 from all marquees, which converts to giving them all marquees at gear 12 for free. So IG90 releases, then you're going to take them both to level 25. Then Chota is going to release. You're going to take all three to level 35. Then the next marquee is going to release. You'll take them all to level 45. Next marquee releases. You'll take them all to 55. Then Vader's going to release to take them all to level 65. So you're going to get those mats as you progress and he breaks it down. I'm not going to go through the nuance of it all. It's not like it comes through the actual characters themselves, but you're going to get them by basically the summons that they give us are not as good as the real marquee characters. And so once you get more and more marquee characters, you're going to go higher and higher up in the levels, meaning that you're going to get more and more of those materials. meaning that you can then level up a little bit more. So it's a very weird system where it almost is feeding into itself, but that is like the biggest thing so far. So spending now gets you ahead for a limited time. So again, my Luke, I think right now is level 16. So mine's not a good example, but let's just say I did spend to get him to level 35 and I'm crushing the Coliseum arena. I'm probably getting close to my, 1000-ish. Depending on, I guess, your shard, maybe I'm only getting like the 500-ish of the era currency, the payout that you get every day. That is only going to last until a free-to-play player gets to Chota, right? So once they get Chota and they unlock him and they level him up, they are going to be able to take their marquees to level 35 as well. So me and the guy that spent on Luke to get him to 35 is going to be at the same place, right? Pending him not spending any more, if he just said, hey, I'm just doing Luke, he and I will be at the same place once Chota releases, right? So that's kind of what that's talking about. So then, yeah, why would you spend? Right now, basically, it's a whale's paradise, right? Like you're going to get R10s. Depending on where you are, where you fall into, R10s are either the coolest thing in the world, or they are just sort of a thing that's way off in the distance. As much as R9 was for a lot of players, R10 is like even further out from that, right? So now that R9 is easier to get, R10 has essentially replaced R9, where it's like, that's a cool thing. I got one for free, but that thing's so far away, I don't really care. Really, a lot of players are really focused on those light speed tokens because that saves a ton of gear. It saves a ton of relic materials, so that way you can use them on these characters when they come out. But yes, that is kind of the reason why you'd be spending to get and to level up currently. So I hate to say it, but I think a lot of people that are spending are also probably not understanding that that's also just a temporary advantage. Once January-ish rolls around, many people are going to catch up to the people that automatically, went all the way up to level 65 or whatever the case is, to get, first in arena or whatever, or Coliseum. So that's his explanation of that. He goes in again to more mechanics, how loan units and stat modifications, like they're different, and that's how you're going to end up kind of progressing if you are free to play. And again, I'm not going to go through that, but so era challenges, right? So I was told, or, one of the questions that I was given was, hey, what about these era challenges, right? I'm level 6 Luke. Am I just not going to be able to, participate? And the answer of that is, if you are just level 6, yes, that is true. Basically, just like there was tiers before where you would say, hey, this needs to be, you need to have a 4-star Luke who's able to, be I forget what the first one is, maybe just 4 stars. And then the next one is like, he needs to be gear 12. And then the next one is like, he needs to be relic 5. That's what these era challenges are. Now they happen on the off week of the marquee, and it lasts about a week. So you can complete it once per week. And there are 6 tiers, and each tier you go against the enemies with higher level characters. So the levels for each tier are 15, 25, 35, 55, 70, and 75. He says that they're currently giving the wrong rewards. He's not sure if they're going to be able to fix that before the first one goes live, which is tomorrow. But he thinks that it's supposed to be the era currency, meaning the stuff that you're also fighting for in Coliseum for your rank. So his TLDR for this is like, yes, free to play will get all marquees to level 65 by the end of the era. That is essentially a gear 12. So when you think of level 65 inside of era, once you convert them all back out, that is to gear 12. That's pretty good, right? I think that's a big positive. That's probably saving many people like 300 to 400 Cairo per character. You will still owe a Cairo tax once they come out because you have only got them to gear 12, and that means that you'll need 100 to get each to gear 13. So you will be looking at 500 Cairo per the end of an era, but I still think that is way better than potentially, you know, owing, you know, 1500 ish for each one of these eras. So I think that's a major positive with this style. Now, it's not all positive. I do think there's a different now way of monetizing and really like extracting, I should say, the dollar from people, specifically with their marquee. Now, you need to be, I forget what level you have to be, but to get that final tier, you have to be at a pretty high level, which you're definitely not even going to get if you sharded up and you just did maybe even a few levels. Like, you have to really commit to it. You have to say to CG, like, I'm willing to go that extra mile now to get this, you know, extra tier of rewards. I think it was a little bit easier before because it was just get them to, I think, Relic 5. And for someone like me, if you've been playing for forever, you could have Relic 5 mats and stuff like that really, really easily. So I think that part is definitely a con. Like, I think that last tier on Marquee now is much more, we'll call it exclusive. So yeah, spending now only gets you ahead for a limited time. Free to play will catch up. Spending now only helps you get R10 mats or light side tokens, again, because of your your Coliseum rank. And then, yeah, so the big thing here too is like, listen, we've seen this. This is pretty obvious. Free to play, you are not going to compete in Coliseum. It's just not going to happen. Like, the shard breakout is not going to be there for you guys to get in the top 10. It's not even going to be there to probably get in the top 30. You are going to be fighting in the 100 to 200 range, I'm guessing, you know, like 100 or below, I guess, because there will be people that will boost up, you know, with crystals that they got. They're relatively cheap. You can get a few levels for like a couple hundred crystals, which is, in the grand scheme of things, that's a few GAC rounds where you just decide, hey, like, I'm going to go in a little bit on this character. So you'll have a wide spread of people, but if you are just strictly sticking to what has been given to you, yeah, you're going to be fighting, you know, for the 50 credits a day kind of thing. You know, and that's just where you got to accept that this game mode is what it is for that purpose. So yeah, I just wanted to give you guys that, you know, that information. I thought it was super helpful because, again, we didn't have this. I didn't know really how this was going to work. I didn't know if we were going to have to go through this entire system again, because then it seems really, really pricey. And I think that's the general gist that everyone else had about this. So let me know if you guys thought this was helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.